The governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, joins us now. And Governor, good morning to you. Our hearts go out to you and the residents of your state there. What can you add based on what you have learned so far? Good morning.
Well, it's been a tragically horrific night, and the notice this morning that all teams had shifted from rescue to recovery is just heart-wrenching, and it's heart-wrenching for the families that I know were expecting a loved one to be home with them last night, and that is where all the focuses are today. Of course, we had just the most extraordinary response last night with first responders coming from all over. The Coast Guard was on the scene immediately, and first responders from all over Northern Virginia and D.C. and Maryland, along with federal resources. It was like something no one had seen before here at DCA. And this morning, the same intensity is being delivered in order to recover every lost life and reunite them with their families. I had a chance to speak with the chairwoman of the NTSB this morning. They are mobilizing their investigatory effort, and that will be hugely important. They also are on point supporting the families. But I offered her every resource available to us on both fronts to make sure that families understand that we are praying for them and we care for them, and we can understand that this is a circumstance they would have never possibly imagined. And so with that as the top focus, we'll also support them in their investigation to make sure that what was understood to be a very routine approach with both crews in contact with air traffic control, and yet, of course, something went massively wrong. And that's going to be the work that's going to be so important to make sure that it never happens again. You know, Bill, that air travel in the United States is the safest form of travel, and we have the safest air travel in the world, and yet something went wrong, and we've got to find out what went wrong and make sure it never happens again.
Governor Stana Perino, could you tell us a little bit more about where the families might be gathering, what sort of resources are available to them?
So there has been a family resource center that's established by American Airlines and supported by the NTSB and everybody else that's been established in Bethesda, Maryland, and all of the information around that has been disseminated. I know that families are coming in from all over today, and of course they're being met by resources to support them in their every need. And of course, they're most concerned about their loved one. And that's why this recovery effort is so important. I've had a chance to speak with the fire and rescue personnel from the district in Virginia and Maryland, and of course the Coast Guard resources that are here. And they are so committed to make sure that every lost life is recovered, families are reunited, and most importantly, that these families that are suffering today, like, as I said, they've never dreamt they ever would, receive the full support that they need.
Governor, have you ever considered, or I'm sure that this has perhaps come up, about the amount of air traffic that's happening in that area? Well,
it's a busy area, of course, with all of the military and commercial activity, along with the federal government's activity. It's an area that's been safe for a long time. And, of course, we have other very busy areas around the nation. But this is a topic that will be a significant part of this investigation to make sure that we understand what happened and that it never happens again. There's no confusion about the fact that something went very wrong, and we've got to figure out what it is and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
The depth of that water is not that daunting. In some cases, it's 4 feet, 8 feet, maybe 20 feet deep. Do you have any reason to think that all the bodies will not be recovered right now, Governor?
We are praying that that will not be the case. My understanding is that American Airlines Flight 5342 inverted in the water, that it did break into multiple pieces, and so that makes the recovery efforts challenging. But having spoken to the amazing men and women that are at work today, They are so committed to make sure that they are successful in their duties and responsibilities today to recover every single lost life.
Governor, is there anything else that you would want to say to the families? I mean, I'm sure everything is happening right away, but I was touched by Lily Wu. She is the mayor of Wichita, Kansas, and one of the things she's going to do today is to hold a prayer service at City Hall for everybody to gather. She said all are welcome, and no doubt that's going to be an important moment for that community that will be grieving for a long time to come.
It is. I spoke with the governor of Kansas last night, and she, like me, was in a state of shock. The connectivity between Wichita and D.C. by a flight is a lot more than just air travel, and therefore we will be grieving with these families together. And this kind of community support, national support for families that, as I said, were introduced to news that they could have never possibly imagined. This is a moment for us to pray for them, to support them, and to make sure that they understand that we are with them at this great time of terrible, terrible tragedy.
Governor, good luck, and thank you for spending a few moments with us. Len Youngkin, Governor there of Virginia. Thank you, sir.